I think it's your turn.
Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with
Dave.
And today we're going to dive into legendary D&D monsters, and we're going to talk about Orcus.
You can dive into the description below where you can find Nerdarchy the newsletter and sign up for weekly gaming tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So, the legendary Demon Lord, one of the top powers in the D&D universe.
And he started and he was one of the first Demon Lords as well from original first edition Dungeons and Dragons. There's been tons of adventures and modules written around him. The Wand of Orcus is kind of like a big deal. And for you guys following along at home, we are in Out of the Abyss.
Page 244 and 245 because he's a full spread.
So, he's this grotesque, bloated, giant humanoid creature with goat legs, huge rotting pot belly. He's got a head of basically where the flesh is rotting away, and it's like a goat skull.
Yeah, it's a desiccated goat skull. He's got wings that burst out of his shoulders. His weapon is called a wand, but it's more like a mace, a mace if nothing else. And he's actually a mightier foe than the Tarrasque.
He's been around for a while. When you're ruling layers of hell, you got some clout. So I am disappointed a little bit that I believe traditionally Orcus is and Demogorgon are enemies.
Right.
And it makes no mention of that. I'm a little disappointed with that. But other than that, this is an epic write-up on him as far as the game stats go. Like mechanically, Orcus is a badass.
Absolutely. All right, so
were you looking at Demogorgon?
I was seeing if there was any brief mention, and while you were doing your spiel. Strength 27, Dex 14, Con 25, Intelligence 20, Wisdom 20, Charisma 25. So I mean, he's off the charts as far as stats.
You're not going to outthink him. Physicality wise, you're not going to be better than him.
Well, except for that Dex, that's clearly a weakness.
Well, yeah, that 14 Dex. Orcus is all about death and undead. Right.
Yeah, he is the demon prince of undeath, known as the Bloodlord. Yeah. At first, reading that, I'm like, Bloodlord, huh? Because of Minor Archetus, but that's nowhere near. They're far afield of each other.
There's very little blood actually having to do with this.
He wants the blood drained from everything so it can just be his undead minions.
And then the amount of undead that he can conjure and summon is just disgusting.
It is ridiculous. While holding the wand, Orcus can use an action to conjure undead whose combined average hit points don't exceed 500.
Right. Well, and then he's got other abilities where he can animate dead and things like that to actually increase even more undead.
Right, and that piddly ability of 500 hit points worth of undead, he can only do that once a day. So, I mean, it's not like he's doing that he probably is doing that every single day.
And it's funny because he's got an ability that can actually, it doubles the damage for necrotic. For necrotic damage, it gives vulnerability to necrotic damage. Right. It doubles it essentially, but he also has Finger of Death that he can cast from the wand. So I could just see him going around to 10th level characters and be like, "Yeah, you're gonna be a zombie I own. You're gonna be a zombie that I own. Everybody gets to be a zombie that I own." He's got a lot of really cool, nifty abilities. Like one of his regional abilities is that wildlife just spontaneously animates, right, if they're dead in his area. Like one of his lair abilities is if he knows you're in his lair, he can just cast kill. Right? He can just say die, and you could be anywhere in his lair, and you just keel over. I mean, the saving throw is no joke either. So it's it's a DC 23. In a game where your proficiency bonus
caps out at 6.
And your stat bonus caps out at 5.
I don't know what that.
I mean, you need a 12 to pass that saving throw if that's your best thing you do.
That's pretty potent.
Yeah, some characters are a little bit better, maybe like a paladin or something, but
Right.
yeah, it's pretty impressive. And then in addition to that, he even breaks some of the rules when it comes to creating undead. Like, generally when you create undead, you have to, it has to be night or you can't do it. He's like,
says,
whatever.
I don't care about that.
I prefer to do it at sunrise. It's spiritual for me. It just feels good. I like to do it.
Yeah, the actual spell create undead. The first line of the spell description says this has to be done at night, and he doesn't care about that.
Well, yeah, he left out the part. It says, first line of the spell says must be done at night unless you're Orcus. Fuck off. Cast it whenever you want. Something like that.
But
I might be paraphrasing.
he is literally off the charts with so many abilities, and his options are just crazy. And
oddly enough, when I was writing Maze of Mandoon, parts of that module kind of like pay homage to Baphomet, and he's always one of the demon lords that I've personally revered. And it makes several mentions of Orcus being like, hey, like, unlike Orcus, Baphomet did not get his own module until blah, 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 or mentioned until blah, blah, blah. And it, like, kept referring back to, like,
Orcus.
yeah, like, always Orcus. And so I think, there's, like, 2 or 3 modules that were written involving Orcus, and he's also like for the old school gamers, like you had the bottom of your dungeon, 666 levels or so, and then like that's the guy you would put there,
right?
Unless you're going to just use Asmodeus, but that's a devil, completely different.
So I think he is a powerhouse between lair actions, regional effects, his legendary actions. He's got the legendary resistance, so it's like, oh, he felt a safe. Oh, no, he didn't.
Well, I mean, it only makes sense for those. Again, like one of the regional effects, and this is a theme that comes up over and over again in the Out of the Abyss book, and that is madness. So that's one of the things that can happen just from bringing his thing in an area that he's been hanging out in. Is you make a wisdom saving throw, or you go basically permanently insane. That and things spontaneously animating. That's always great.
Right.
Like he's a real necromancer's necromancer. Like if you're gonna be a necromancer, this is the guy you probably want to revere.
Yeah, this is definitely a way to go if you're into that whole undeath thing.
Or a fiendish pack warlock. If you go fiendish pack warlock, but you want to kind of like be heavy, like kind of necromantic, like that would be,
if chill touch is going to be your thing.
Yeah,
this could be your guy.
This would be your guy. I don't even know if warlocks get chill touch or not. It's not an Eldritch Blast. For sure. So, for legendary monsters, Orcus is probably like on the top of the food chain. Not Yenagu, we did him.
Yeah.
Demogorgon is probably going to be the other one that's up there quite a bit.
Demogorgon is also a 26.
Like I said, my only the artwork on him is really sweet too. My biggest disappointment is it doesn't talk about the feud between Demogorgon and
Orcus.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen that. Yeah, a little homage paid there from the good old days.
Yeah, I think they're sticking just to who the thing is. That there isn't that really relationship in.
Well, I guess this is getting a little bit off topic, but a lot of these demon lords have such rich histories, and varied for that matter, depending who was writing what edition. That I could see where it would be difficult to figure out the canon. So they might go with a more specific, less spread out canon, so that you as the GM can put them in your game however you see fit. This is definitely a monster where you could start off with low-level cult. All the demon lords work this way, really. Low-level cultists, and then you can move up into like minor undead along with the cultists, and you get a little bit more powerful undead, a little bit more powerful evil priests. The undead keeps ratcheting up until you get to like vampires, liches, maybe even a demi-lich.
And feel free to mix it up with demons and things. in there as well.
There's demons as well.
You know, there's no sense to just stick it to undead and people.
But it's kind of his theme, though, you know. So I'm just saying, like, if you want to really like build the campaign around Orcus and the theme,
that's true. But I mean, you can build that with varying pieces.
You know, well, you know, you have you could have the undead spellcaster summon the demons.
That's true as well.
Yeah.
And don't forget to have those undead be descriptive and have them be orcs and goblins and humans and dwarves and elves, so they don't all look the same.
Well, yeah, there's that. Also, too, you could retool the demons as well to make them have more of that undead feel, even if it's maybe in their appearance or how they interact with undead. Kind of, I would tailor them a little bit, like like what I've done in the past when I've used. The blood demon, you know. So I basically took the Yenagals? No, what are the yokels?
Yokels, yeah.
Yeah, and they look like they're made out of wax, but I made them out in blood instead.
Right. When you did the online game.
Yeah, it was highly appropriate. You could totally do the same thing with any of the demons. Like that specific demon is really fun because you can do a lot of different things with it. Like, really, what if it was like a tower of screaming souls, and instead of instead of the yokel or the blood demon look, you totally change the look. You could maybe even make it intangible, like some of the incorporeal, like some of the other.
I was going to go the other way. I was going to be like, what if it was just a pile of bones that, like, the bones moved?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It flowed like a snake or whatever have you, with this just conglomeration of skulls at the top to represent a head, but it was a skull made out of skulls.
Well, you're your own game master. You can do whatever you want. But
that's where the inspiration took me.
But that's my point. Like, you can just take any of the demons out of the book and change them. I bet there's even some demons that would make. Like, you could even do them in Orcus's image, and they kind of are like that a little bit anyway.
Right.
Or what about the Gastro? It's like a giant demon, like literally.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's like tower sized, and it's kind of looks like a bull or a minotaur. Mm-hmm. But
that would work.
I don't know if it's actually in this edition. I think it is, but it was definitely in previous editions where you could make it look like a giant Orcus, and you're like, oh my god, yeah. But it turns out like he's a bitch next to Orcus anyway. But it still would be really frightening to drop on your players. You know, when you have this thing that's literally like looking over the wall of the city.
Hello down there.
Exactly. So just some ideas. You could definitely theme it up, or when you're using a demon lord, like, that's a campaign.
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to end your campaign arc with, like, they're going to close the portal, kick him out of this world, or, like, if you really want to do something epic like Paladins in Hell, well, in this case of the Abyss, you're going down there to to spank his hiney on his home turf.
With the demons in this book, they range from challenge 23 to 26, with Orcus and Demogorgon being the
toughest.
Yeah. Everyone else is either a 23 or 24.
So you got some options. But anyway, especially I want to hear from you old heads that have been around for a while, and you put down all the cool Orcus facts from first edition and second edition that kind of get glossed over in Out of the Abyss. I would love to read about them. For everyone else, while you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can head over to Facebook and check out some funny memes.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.